W's and
Yeah.
L's, the weekly recap show where we give a dub to the things that we do like and an L to the things that we don't. I hijacked your chance to go first last time because for your reason, obviously, but it's on you.
All right. Here we go. Let's start out with go dubs first. All right. So first dub I got is going out to Mr. Darvin Ham, the newest head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Congratulations, sir. I do want to point out to the peanut gallery that's been chirping about the chaotic Lakers front office for all these months and months. Darvin Ham, not Kurt, not Jeannie, not Phil, not Magic, but Darvin Ham is expected to start filling out his staff as early as this week. He is going to fill out his staff with his people, not the Lakers. So if they didn't want to if they wanted to have somebody on the staff with Doc Rivers, it's just something they ain't trusting Doc Rivers. Or he couldn't negotiate to get that shit out of there. Too bad for him. Same thing with Mark. Even though I love Mark Jackson, he was the guy I wanted, but I'm cool with Darvin Ham. It was either one of them, right? But same thing. Either there was something they didn't trust about you, or you weren't able to negotiate out of it. Darvin Ham was.
What do you expect from Darvin Ham as a coach within the first year or two?
I want to see a younger approach to the game, right? Like a willingness to play small, not so much deference to seniority as much as you should towards productivity. I want to see a coach who values productivity over longevity or seniority. I want to see a guy who can competently build rotations. The one knock that I always had on Frank Vogel, he could never even get to a point of putting in a coherent half-court offense because his rotations were never set. So I'm hoping, the 11 years that Darvin Ham has been an NBA assistant, he's pulled a lot from a lot of people. Former Lakers assistant, most recently with Coach Budenholzer at Milwaukee.
Okay.
Plus, he's a guy who knows how to deal with stars. He's been dealing with the league's MVP for the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Last in the league, champion, Finals MVP. So I don't think there's anything that LeBron or I'm not even gonna say his name. LeBron is going to be coming with that he can't handle. I'm hoping he's a strong hand. I'm hoping that LeBron is forced to work around Darvin Ham as opposed to Darvin Ham trying to work around LeBron. Giving a dub out to Netflix. Netflix, a couple weeks ago, actually, I think I dropped the ball on this one from last week's episode. Netflix sent out communications to their employees a couple weeks ago, or within the week, communicating to them that they had no plans to end their relationship with Dave Chappelle. And furthermore, that if this was going to be a continuing problem for anyone who is currently employed at Netflix, maybe they shouldn't be.
What? Toodaloo, motherfucker. Hey,
It's not often that companies get behind black people and stay there, regardless of the criticism. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I have no problems with this. They're not virtue signaling to you that, oh, well, we feel your pain and we're going to do everything we can do to make it right and then suspend Dave Chappelle until you forget about him and move on to somebody else and then hire him back again. That's how most people would handle this. How most companies would handle it. It's how Warner Brothers is kind of doing with Amber Heard right now in the midst of her bullshit with Johnny Depp. They lessened her role per court. They lessened her role in Aquaman 2. They'll probably put her on the shelf for some years until people forget about her and bring her up in a new role in some other movie. If she's still under contract at that point. Because they haven't picked up her options just yet. I guess from the standpoint of wanting your voice to be heard, I can understand. But Dave Chappelle, unlike some of these politicians, unlike some of these just flat out bigots like Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson, who seek nothing else than to rile up the racist in this country. He wasn't coming at that community, and I'm not just talking about trans people, I'm talking about the LGBTQ community as a whole. It didn't come at y'all with animosity. It didn't come at y'all with hate. It didn't come at you with ill will or vitriol or war. It came seeking understanding, and it came trying to give you an understanding of what your role is and maybe our oppression. Now, if you heard that and you thought Dave Chappelle should be fired, then I think the response from Netflix was accurate. You know, if you still got, some ways to go until you watching a Dave Chappelle special again. Hey, I understand. It's a lot of people I won't watch either. But see, you are not going to come along with me and not watch those people. You're not going to come along with me and not support those companies or those brands. I have to do that on my own. I have to carry that torch on my own as a black man. It's the way it's always been. Whatever issues I have in the zeitgeist, I go about them alone. And I carry my torch. I don't see why that should be any different for anyone else. Right? Where we intersect, where we have a common enemy, you'll see me. Dave Chappelle's not my enemy on this. So on to my negativity. I don't know if this is a dub to Kendrick Perkins, which will be the first of ever on this show for me. Or if it's just the L for Patrick Bev, but I'm comfortable with it being the L for Pat Beverly. This week on First Take, which I never watch anymore, which I was a little upset this week because I missed this whole exchange. Kendrick Perkins got in Patrick Beverly's ass, right? So Patrick Beverly, since he got his exit from the playoffs, has been
a mainstay on ESPN.
Yeah, and been given some scathing reports of certain players, mainly Chris Paul, right? Called him a traffic cone, all this other stuff, overhyped, blah, 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 this kid. Right? But when it comes to his boy James Harden, who also had a lackluster postseason, a couple lackluster postseasons stacked up on each other. Like, at least 3 that I can remember. This one in Philly, last year in Brooklyn, the year before that in Houston. All lackluster, last 3.
Yeah.
But your boy Pat Beverly doesn't want to seem to turn the vitriol towards James Harden. Now, I don't want to say that he's pulling punches because they're friends, but you got a whole lot to say to a man who just lost in the finals a year ago. Not that much for a man who's never or hasn't been since he was the third wheel in Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. So Kendrick Perkins called him out on it. He like, you can't tell me that James Harden go out there and give you what he gave you in these playoffs. He didn't even talk about the last 2. But these playoffs, and tell me he deserves a Supermax extension. Especially when you just try to tell me that Chris Paul is a fucking traffic cone for losing this year, even though he was just in the finals a year prior. You need to call a spade, bro. Don't try to protect your mans. Now, at this point, I'm expecting Patrick Beverly to be like, hey, you know what, Perk, you right. My bad. James Harden wasn't that good this year. You know what I'm saying? No, he doubled down.
Yeah, of course he did.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you was in that position, you wouldn't want nobody to take your money. Nigga. It's okay to take money from Chris Paul, but not James Harden? It's okay to talk down on Chris Paul's next future contract with the Suns, but not James Harden, who sucks asshole this year?
You know what I think that is? So I've been watching Pat Bev for the last, I think it's been a week or 2 now on ESPN, and I've seen a lot of his takes as well. I think what he's been kind of doing is being a contrarian to the people that ESPN holds on a pedestal and the people that ESPN kind of shits on.
Clap him up, everybody. He's a special boy with a special thing, with a special trait. It's unnatural. Nobody else is this.
It's worked in some cases. In this specific case, it's hypocritical. But
congratulations, everyone. It's a contrarian. Oh, have you ever seen one of these?
That's what he's doing, bro. That's exactly what he's doing.
Ah.
It works for Pat Bev though because everybody hates Pat Bev.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to find his way into the business, and that's his end. I've seen many guys flame out trying to do that shit. Dominique Foxworthy, like I cannot stand to watch him on TV. Ryan Hollis, remember Ryan Hollis used to try to play that shit with his spicy ass takes.
Kobe Bryant couldn't fill, or Michael Jordan fill LeBron's shoes. The impact that he's had with different teammates, different organizations.
Would you be mad at me if I just walked off the show?
You can't leave.
Hey,
Are
you aware that this man has tripled and doubled Michael Jordan in assists?
Yeah, but Ryan Hollis isn't somebody that NBA fans love to hate. They just hate him.
I don't know.
And they only hated him for his takes on
shit
ESPN.
takes. Like Ryan Hollins was like, he was like a forgotten player to me. He was kind of just like I can't call him Marcus Camby because Marcus Camby was a fucking baller.
Yeah.
I would say Chris Kaman, but Chris Kaman was an all-star. So
you know what I mean? Like I don't even remember Ryan Hollis' playing days like that.
Yo, you remember Samaki Walker?
Yes. I do.
Samaki Walker was better than Ryan Hollins, though. I can't even give him Samaki Walker.
You know?
Kwame. But at least Kwame went first overall. Damn, Ryan. Yeah, you just in the classic shit all year wrong. But yeah, L to Pat Bev, bro. L to Pat Bev. Next L is going out to the people who literally made Morbius 2 happen on Twitter.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Morbius 2. Morbius 2, baby, being planned for where is it releasing at? On Disney Plus and Paramount. It's gonna be a joint venture, you know, because Sony don't have their own streaming service. They just put a movie in the movie theaters and they've already tagged the sequel for streaming only. But you know what got it going? The fucking algorithm, because y'all won't stop talking about it. They see you well, they don't see you trash.
Yeah, but
they see
people trolling it though.
No, they don't see that. They see you talking about it. And even if you are putting out negative opinions about it, right? This is actually giving me an idea. This in combination with some other things I've seen on Twitter this week, but we'll talk about that later. You talking about it lets them know that there's some sort of interest, even if it's negative, right? Because a lot of you hate motherfuckers buy tickets just to go hate on the shit. That's what y'all do. That's how you live your lives. You go watch content just to hate on it. So if you're going to spend your money to hate on it, I don't give a damn whether or not you like it or not. So you unwittingly made a Morbius 2 that you didn't want to happen because y'all don't know how to shut the fuck up sometimes.
The cycle's probably going to repeat itself.
You said what?
The cycle's probably going to repeat itself. It's probably going to cause a lot of people to hate on it again.
Fam, this is like Sharknado. How do these movies keep getting made? How?
Literally exactly like that.
I don't even know how that works or how that affects Marvel as a brand. If now the main draw for one of your titles is how bad it is, like it's like a spoof that's not a spoof. How does that go for branding? Like, yeah, let's go see the shitty movie to make fun of it. That's literally the intrigue for the sequel. This movie was so bad that there's no possible way that the sequel could be worse. Sheesh. Oh my God. All right.
It's Morbin time.
Don't do that. I am giving an L out to the Black Panther comic book written by John Ridley. I'll spend a little bit of time here. Let me start off by saying that the book has been delayed. So you'll see this week we'll have an X-Men Red review, but not a Black Panther comic book review because the book has been delayed. So that's the impetus for the L. I was hoping, because for some reason my LCS is a little shaky on their quantities for Black Panther. until recently, I put it on my pull list, so I get one. But it's been kind of hit or miss. I had to bounce around to find them. But I thought I was missing it. I thought I like in between, the wedding and doing all this shit. I thought I forgot to go pick up my books one week, and it was delayed. So, I want to start off by saying that I feel like there is a growing sentiment that Black writers for Black Panther are not as good as the white writers on Black Panther. I want to talk about that first because I feel like even though you would have all the evidence in the world from the last 2 or 3 runs from Black Panther to feel a little bit of that, I want to challenge that thought process just for a moment. Because number one, what you're doing when you're saying that is you're discrediting Christopher Priest, you're discrediting Reginald Hudlin, which are 2 of the most influential Black Panther, if not the 2 most influential Black Panther writers, right? Number 2, I think it's easy to look at the starting point of these arcs, where Christopher Priest started out, the scope of the story he was able to tell, right? When Al Ewing was writing Black Panther, what was the scope? What's the range of the story that we're able to tell here? Jason Aaron on Avengers. What is the scope? What is the range that I'm able to have with this character? Compare that to the most recent runs that we've gotten of Black Panther. Ta-Nehisi Coates, very Wakanda isolated. Even when we get into the intergalactic empire, we are still just talking of Wakanda. Same thing, John Ridley. First 5 issues of this book, isolated to Wakanda. And this is coming off the heels of Ta-Nehisi Coates leaving us with an intergalactic empire and an emperor of that intergalactic empire. We go from that directly back to civil unrest and political strife. It would be very easy for me to say, oh, well, the black artists aren't as good, or the Black writers aren't as good, and they don't care to expand on T'Challa or write him the way that we would like him to be written, and it's just on them. It would be very easy for me to say that and just stay at that opinion. But if I'm looking at it, Al Ewing writing Ultimates, he's writing a cosmic level book. He's dealing with cosmic entities. He's talking about Galactus. He's dealing with other superpower beings in the Marvel Universe. Not a Malololo in Akili. He's dealing with incursions. Not the Hot Tooth Zaraze and his own sleeper cell agents. Now, if it's enough for you to say, oh, well, that's where they decided to jump off from, that's where they decided to keep their stories isolated to, that's on them, then then we just disagree. There ain't really nothing much I can do for you. For me, that tells me that those writers are being allowed to write with a much larger scope than what is being given to the black characters. The Black writers. It doesn't take a lot to take some of Marvel Comics' most popular characters, throw them together on a book, and write a great story. But if all you're left with are little-known characters within Wakanda, and then new characters that you are now tasked with building up, you're starting from an uphill battle. You're starting from zero. And it's not enough for me to just say, oh, well, the black writers just suck. I'm never, that's lame brain to me. That's low brow. I'm never just going to land at that conclusion without trying to look at it deeper. Have the stories coming out of the Black writers sucked? Absolutely. This latest run of Black Panther is terrible, yo. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. The solicits that we are getting from the delayed issue 6, are not great. It's not great. They did all this building up of T'Challa, right? He's a Titan without the suit. He's powerful without the suit. He's not just the suit. He's not just vibranium. Only to see him getting his ass kicked in the solicits. My problem is not the individual writers so much as because okay, let me put it to you this way. I watched Chillmonger's video today he put out about meaningless representation in Marvel, talking about Miss Marvel and the writers that they choose to put on the titles that they feel like are important or that they want people to think are important. If Black Panther was important to Marvel, Jonathan Hickman's done with X-Men. Why isn't he writing Black Panther? Donny Cates just picked up Hulk. He's in the first 5 issues. Why didn't Donny Cates pick up Black Panther? Why isn't Kieran Gillen writing a Black Panther book? Even some of the B-level writers that you keep giving books to that I don't really want to see, like Teenie Howard. Or you know, some ones that have been on a hot streak like Vida Ayala. Why aren't any of these notable names that you know are going to draw people to the book writing on it? Don't tell me it's the black writers. Black writers are responsible for Shuri. Black writers are responsible for the Dora Milaje. Black writers are responsible for solidifying the relationship between T'Challa and Storm. The only reason why we are here sitting in 2022 talking about keep that relationship together, don't have them divorced, don't have them in petty squabbles between their teams, between their superpower teams. The only reason why we are able to do that is because black writers continue to write the relationship and giving us canon to go off of. Black writers did that. White writers put it with Logan. I had to give the comic book an L for the delay, but I also wanted to talk about like kind of what I felt like was going on with it. Like I haven't been overly impressed with John Ridley at all, and I think it's more so due to his struggle. Number one, to write royal or regal language. That's been the biggest hurdle. But also, it seems like, and this is something that I can say even with Ta-Nehisi Coates, that the scope of these stories is so very limited in a way that it seems like they are only able to talk about Wakanda. If that were 2 writers from the same fucking writing school, they graduated together, I'd say, oh yeah, y'all got the same teacher. There's something wrong with y'all. But John Ridley, Ta-Nehisi Coates, what's the connection there? What's the connection there? Other than they black, and their starting point from the story was very grounded, very based. They're not given these overarching themes or superpowered teams to write with. Jason Aaron is. Al Ewing was. How about we look at that and say, why are they able to piggyback off of that? Why is their jumping point so much more grand? Unless you're just saying that black writers aren't as talented, in which that's not where I'm going. But that's it. That's it for me on my dubs and nails.
All right. Let's go ahead and start off with my dubs. I'm going to go ahead and give a dub to Isaiah Rashad. He just did an interview with none other than Joe Budden. He was in really good spirits. Like I said, he didn't really have to explain anything. He didn't have to do this. Wasn't 100% necessary. He can go on and do whatever he wants to do. But it does seem like he's in good spirits. It does look like he's attacking this thing like we said he should, and just be himself after all of this, because there's nothing different.
What did he say about the videos?
He said he was sexually fluid and that he's still kind of learning everything as it pertains to that. He does have, I don't know if he has a girlfriend or wife or whatever, but he is in a relationship with a woman. But that they are both sexually fluid. And so take that how you may. But I guess this specific incident did happen months ago, or months before it actually came out. So it's a fairly recent thing. So I don't know the specifics on his relationship, but he is in a relationship and he is sexually fluid. So he says.
Good for him. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. Good for him. I
Yeah.
can't say
Yep.
that I
Yep.
understand any of it, but good for him. It's not really for me to understand.
And probably weird that he said that to Joe Budden, who I'm sure doesn't understand it as
That
well.
was
But you know what?
my thing. I'm like, yo, you took this to Joe. I just know Joe's mind was in there running like, man, what the
You know,
surprised
but
we ain't
yeah,
seen nothing
look,
crazy. Surprised we ain't get no sound bites.
right. And even funnier, I did hear a clip of it where Isaiah Rashad says something and then he says pause, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Which I thought was absolutely
That's
hilarious.
funny.
But hey, it is what it is. On to my next dub. Colin Kaepernick gets a default dub because it has been reported that he has been doing workouts for the Raiders and that they went positive. But still, no deal on the table or anything like that. Probably a long shot for a deal to happen, to be honest with you. And this doesn't change my stance with the NFL, even if he does get a deal, because at the end of the day, the NFL is a shit league.
NFL is a shit league. I will, even if it is off of a personal vendetta, I will give credit to Mark Davis for making this happen, man. I 1000% believe he's doing this because he hates Roger Goodell. But I appreciate it all the same. Sometimes the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
1000%. On to my last dub. I'm going to give a dub. Speaking of NFL news, I guess, I'm going to give a dub to Travis Kelce, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, because it has been reported that unfortunately, and I probably should give him an L for this, he's getting a divorce from his wife, I believe, his black wife at that. And it's been reported that a portion of the reason why is because he hasn't been financially supporting her and has only really given her, reportedly, $100 throughout their entire relationship.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe you would marry a man who's only ever giving you $100. I don't believe that.
But if it's true, how in the hell have you been in a relationship, married a woman, only giving her $100?
It's not even possible. If y'all going on more than 10 dates, he spend more than $100 on you. Not to mention he come on, man. Y'all never took a vacation. He never bought you a car. Where do you live? You don't live with him? Did you get an engagement ring or did he pull it out of the Cracker Jack box? Like what? Stop.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so if he may have financially supported her, but if he's only literally handed her $100, you don't see that as a dub?
Meaning like he was just paying for anything, but he only ever gave her $100 in cash?
If that's the case. I don't know 100% the specifics, but what if that was the case?
See, like I'm that
not
level
worthy
of
a dub?
I was about to say, yeah, I'm that level of stingy. So like that's something that I aspire to, you know what I mean? But like I can't. I'm not trying to get into nobody's relationship squabbles. I don't know if this man is legitimately withholding his wallet from his wife. But I don't know, man. I just so she's divorcing him because she only got $100 from him that she claimed.
In part due to that. I don't know, what other issues they have besides that, but that does play a part into the divorce from what I've seen reportedly.
He was probably in the race play.
Being from Cincinnati, which is basically Kentucky.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, boy, right there next to Kentucky. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But
I wouldn't be the least surprised. Oh man. My next, my L's. Let me go move on to these two quick L's. I want to give an RIP to Ray Liotta, who has done an amazing job in Hollywood, obviously as Henry Hill in Goodfellas. Also played Tommy Vercetti in Vice City. He's played numerous roles and played the hell out of him. So I do want to say RIP to a great actor in Ray Liotta for sure.
R.I.P.
Moving on, my last L is going to be to Winnie the Pooh. Not sure if you've seen this, but Winnie the Pooh as the character has gone public. And so he's in the public domain, meaning that there's no copyright laws to him, which means that, unfortunately, anybody can essentially do whatever they want with Winnie the Pooh. And so, of course, that means let's start a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey is a movie that's being rolled out right now because
Blood and Honey, they about to ruin Winnie the Pooh for me, man.
I'm not sure if you've seen the stills or any of that stuff, but yeah, it looks kind of crazy. It looks like Saw almost for Winnie the
Hello,
Pooh.
Christopher Robbins. Lay it down, bitch ass.
Yeah, it's Winnie the Pooh Saw. It looks like, to me at least, which is absolutely nuts. That
Winnie the Pooh shiesty.
You know, yeah.
Winnie the Pooh shiesty.
It's just amazing that people can take innocent characters like Winnie the Pooh and make them these crazy, convoluted things.
Public domain.
I guess. Any other dubs or L's for you?
That's it for me, man. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Give us your dubs and L's from the week in the comments below. Also, tell us what you thought about ours.
Make sure you check out our playlist full of dubs and L's. Kind of get caught up on everything. And like you said, we do this every Wednesday, so make sure you subscribe for